Welcome to Be Inspired, your ultimate resource for finding inspiration and living consciously in a rapidly changing world. And welcome to Still Blooming Conversations with the Artists. I'm Francesca Durham, curator for this group exhibition on view at the Art Gallery of Burlington from February 7th through to May 24th. This exhibition asks a question I've asked myself many times. What does it mean to still be blooming? And how do we keep creating beauty and meaning and community despite adversity? Over this episode series, I'm sitting down with each of the artists in the exhibition to hear their answers. And I'd like to start by saying thank you to our sponsor, the Halton Black History Awareness Society, for your generous support of our artists. Now today, I'm thrilled to be in conversation with Según Aiyesan. His artwork in this exhibition is called Through the Crevices, where he says, all that is left when the walls close in from different directions. Según, thank you so much for being here and being part of this podcast series for Still Blooming. How are you?
I'm fine, Francisco. How are you doing?
Good. I'm good. Thank you. As you know, there are 5 core questions in this mini deep dive interview. So are you ready to get started?
Oh, yeah, let's get it on.
All right, let's go with question number 1, which is more of a personal connection. And the question is, what does the phrase still blooming mean to you personally? And how does your work in this exhibition embody that idea?
Okay, Francisco. So, like my title implies, through the crevices. So for me, it's like a metaphor, for the resilience and, continuity of life in spite of the adversity that, one goes through, So still blooming is like a defiant assertion that in spite of what you have imposed on me, I'm still blooming. It's a continuum. It's something that you can't put down, you can't kill. So basically, that's what I'm trying to express here in the painting that I present.
Okay, and then if you can tell us a little bit about your creative process, can you walk us through the creation of your piece, Through the Crevices? What inspired it, and were there any surprising moments or challenges in bringing it to life?
Oh yes, when I got the theme, I of course ruminated over it, for a while, and then I was looking for the most impactful and direct way to address the theme, and it just came to me, that the crevice, generally it's an environment that is not really conducive for life, because there's limited resources, there's obstruction of light.
Mm-hmm.
If you know what a crevice is, it's like a crack in a wall, and there's somehow life is able to come through it. So when that occurred to me, I realized this must be the best way to express this thing. So basically, that was how I started, and of course I adopted my proprietary material that I call quick textural, to deploy this. So the material gave the painting some kind of textural feel, so beyond just appreciating the visual, the visual aspect of it, you also are invited to feel it, to feel the surface, because you can see cracks. You can actually feel the cracks on the texture in the painting. That's as a result of the textural material that I used.
Okay, and I must say it's a beautiful piece, and I really can't wait for people to see it up close. And if we were to talk about botanical imagery as a language, the exhibition explores how flowers and botanical forms can be languages of survival and memory and resistance. What are the botanical forms saying? What story are they telling?
Okay, so the basically, the end result of a flower is the bloom,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And it has to go through many processes to arrive at that point. Of course, there are many adversities, that will come against it to prevent that blooming, to occur. You could have external forces cut away the stem. You could have insects destroy the leaves, and everything, and it doesn't get to arrive at that bloom. So there's adversity. There's a lot of oppositions, to prevent eventual blooming. But like I said earlier, the resilience of the spirit of that individual or that plant, would keep it going, in spite of all this. If you relate it to how plants actually survive, I think there are some plants that, through genetic information, they're able to actually use information from the past attempts, so to speak, to survive. So you can relate this to the ancestry
Okay.
of the people, because all of the struggles, all of the wisdom of the past, are kind of transmitted, to the present, so that you can survive, the situations that are before for you currently. So there's a parallel between human survival, in particular the black race, and how plants are able to also survive the many adversities that they had to go through to come to that point.
Right, and that's part of the story that your artwork is telling.
Yes.
And the exhibition repositions softness as sovereignty, challenging the idea that beauty or botanical imagery is merely decorative. So, how does your work speak to this tension between softness and strength?
Okay. So usually when you see things, you only see the finished product. Like I said earlier, you don't see where it's coming from. So
Mm-hmm.
the painting shows a plant that seems to be sprouting from an impossible space. You could see the walls are closing in, to stop this plant from blooming. So the struggles represent the hardness, of its survival, and the bloom, which is the end product, which is what we see, represent the beauty that emerges from those struggles. So there's a connection. There's an intrinsic thing, that links both the beauty that is expressed through the aesthetic the aesthetic appreciation of the plant, and where it's coming from, what it had to endure, in terms of limited light, in terms of poor soil, in terms of the adversities and all that would have killed it. It probably could have withered if it didn't have that strength, to get to that end point. So the softness for me would probably be the brilliance, the colorfulness of the end result.
Okay.
So basically, that's the connection that I'm trying to make.
I'm just sitting here thinking of the connection that you've made to listen to the story. And if somebody was to encounter your work in this exhibition, whether in person or even if they were looking at the digital catalog, what do you hope they take away? What do you want them to feel or understand?
Yes, because I always have the opinion that an artwork should always have something to say. I mean, people should not just appreciate it only for the aesthetic value, but for the story, for the communication that the artwork is, pushing out there. So when people look at my piece, I want them to appreciate the piece for the wisdom that they're expressing, for the historic, perspective that the artwork portrays, because I mean, the artwork is showing that the story isn't really just a present story, but it's a story of the past, the present, and then likely the future, because still blooming is like a continuous thing. It's not. It's not an end. It's not an end point. Yeah. So it speaks to survivor in a hostile condition.
And as you said earlier, for the meaning through the crevices, using that metaphor for resilience, and as you were just saying, the continuity of life.
Exactly.
Right, despite adversity. And my last question for you is going to be, who or what has influenced your understanding of beauty and resistance and creativity? Who inspires you? Where do you take that inspiration from?
Okay. Well, firstly, I would say God is my, ultimate inspiration, because I think God is beauty, and is the original artist. He's the one that puts everything out here for us to either appreciate or despise. If you choose to appreciate what God, has put here, you can elevate your own creativity, because you see things beyond just the ordinary. But as for the artists that that have inspired me over the years, even though I'm largely an experimental artist, I would say the German artist Hieronymus Bosch, the one that painted Garden of Earthly Delights, I really was inspired by his works, because my works are also largely surrealistic. So I would also say Salvador Dali and Francisco Goya, the Spanish.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes, so those are some of the artists that, I get influenced by many artists' work. So I'm just filtering this. There are quite a number of artists that I've gotten inspirations from. But this will just do for now.
Wonderful. And Shigan, I can't thank you enough for this beautiful conversation. We could speak for so much longer. I love how you tell stories. Thank you again for your gifts and all of your talents in Still Blooming. And if you could just tell us really quickly, where's the best place for anybody that is listening to connect with you or to find you online or social media? Is it a website? Is it an Instagram account? Where do you hang out on social media?
Oh, yeah. My website is www.segunayesanart.com. And my handle on Instagram is Según_Aiyesan. And also in Facebook, Según Aiyesan. So you can find me in all these places.
Okay, and for everyone listening, you can see Shigan's work, and it's in the full exhibition, including all 9 artists at the Art Gallery Burlington from February 7th through to May 24th. And we also have a digital catalog with the complete curatorial statement and artwork images and more at francescadurham.com, which is my website. And if you're a curator, gallery owner, or an arts organization interested in community-engaged exhibitions, then I encourage you to visit francescadurham.com to learn more about my curatorial practice. Thanks again for tuning in. Thank you, Shigan, for your time again today. Keep blooming and stay inspired.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure. Take care.